Okay, great.
All righty.
Great.
So welcome,
Hi.
welcome to the small but intimate crew of Core Connects. We have my friend Hillary in Maryland. Everybody else is in Rhode Island. So thank you, Hillary, for joining us.
Yeah.
And as I thank everybody for joining us. And so not a lot else is focused, I think, right now, other than Pesach. Passover is coming up, and getting in the mood. Nancy very kindly offered on some of our push for a nice, relaxing art experience in the midst of the hecticness of pre-Passover. So I'm really just going to hand it over to my friend Nancy, who is a world-renowned artist and facilitator of process in art and enjoying and finding our own inner creative energy. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alyssa. It's really a pleasure. And like I said, I mean, most of my familiarity with people has been in boxes on the screen over this past year. And my husband and I moved to, for those who don't know, my husband and I moved to Rhode Island just a few months before things started to shut down. So that's why, you know, I'm grateful to Zoom and the internet for enabling us to land and make connections, but I really would prefer to be seeing people in person. And so this works too. So here we are. And I'm very grateful to Alyssa for organizing these events and twisting my arm a little bit to get me to share what I enjoy doing. So first I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to start. Wait a second. Oh, hold on. You'd think I was. Why can't I do that? Wait a minute. I got to open this first, I guess. Oh, that's not. Sorry. There we go. Now I'm going to share the screen. There we go. That's better.
Oh.
Okay. Can you see? So, okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's amazing what you can do on these with Keynote or PowerPoint or whatnot. And okay, well, I decided to name this when I was putting it together, that this is Passover Memories and Meanings, and that we're going to explore together what that is for us. And in starting to put this together, I came across I have over the years led Seders, and on the cover of the Haggadah that we used for many years was this photograph, which was taken at a Seder, and this is my husband Mark's hand with my dad's. And this was actually my dad's last Seder, 8 years ago, I think it was. And to me, it's a very powerful image, and it's a very powerful feeling. And one of the things that we'll be exploring is what Passover is about to us, what the Seder is about to us, what it has been about to us, and what it is now, and like that. So when I was thinking about it, it felt really important to share that picture. And we have classic illuminated images. This is Arthur Schick, who he himself had illustrated Haggadot. And then I found these fabulous photographs online that felt valuable to share, of different gatherings of Seders. And we can assume in many cases that there are families, extended families and friends. Just very, very powerful. And this is from 1923. 3 in Manila. These are not all family members. It's a communal experience, and you can see all the festivity involved here. And then back in the family in the I think that's the late 40s. Love it. Military. And this was a White House Seder with President Obama in the middle there, and contemporary, playful family Seder. Lots of action going on there. And then we have last year and how things changed. And for some of us, this notion of Zoom was this new thing, and it served as a way for people to maintain some semblance of what the holiday was about for them. You can see, again, these were pictures I took from offline. Here was a way for an individual to be connected, whether this was done, whether they had the Seder prior to a meal, how it exactly played out, I don't know the story there. I was struck too by this image. This is from Efrat in Israel, and clearly this woman, at first I thought she was alone, but now I'm seeing that there are 2 place settings, that she and the other who she shared with was not meeting in the way that what I see in this story is that in this picture is a story that she couldn't meet with her, it looks like pretty extended family there. So she has has photographs to feel connected, and has a table with flowers for spring. And I'm hearing my echo. It's a little funny, but okay. So part of what I want to acknowledge is that we're having this annual experience that goes way back, but it's different now. It was different. Last year was the first time it was different for us, and we have another chance to figure out how it is this time. But what's not so different is the idea that ritual and ritual objects are an integral part of the Seder experience. And this happens to be a Seder plate by an artist friend who lives in Acton, Massachusetts, Fran Addison, and focusing on she has a dove as a hopefulness. And what Fran does is she takes disparate antique objects and reworks them. So this is her Seder plate, or space for all the symbolic foods. And here's another Seder plate. I don't know this, but what I appreciate about this too is, okay, we see a little more than the plate itself. We see the wine and the flowers and different components. And this image struck me as very vibrant. And here's a child's Seder plate here, an illustration. So of course, the Seder plate has has spots for the different symbolic foods. And here we have some in place. And this year too, and I want to put in the chat, I'm seeing all sorts of new things, and just actually in the past 48 hours, I came across, this is, the Seder plate, the foods on the Seder plate all have different symbols, but one organization called the Blue Dove Foundation, it focuses on mental health in the Jewish community. And they created this sheet, and I have a PDF that I'd like to share with everybody about that. So I will put that in the chat. If not right now, I will later. And then just today, I learned about something that the Jewish Studio Project, based in Berkeley, California, where I lived for many years and where Cynthia lived for many years, put out this a wonderful book that if I had seen this before today, I probably would have incorporated more into tonight. But I want to read this too, that Pesach is the biblical holiday that celebrates the beginning of spring and the miraculous exodus of the enslaved Israelites from Egypt. The holiday is rich in spiritual teachings for personal growth and social change. Every year, the themes of oppression and liberation resonate in new ways, and the suppressible energy for renewal surfaces like the growth emerging from dormancy at the cusp of a new season. Opportunities to reflect, imagine, create, and celebrate are deeply embedded in the core ritual of the holiday, the Seder. This festive meal, structured in an immersive experience, provides a concrete way to transmit history and heritage using time-honored techniques that are intended to make the ideas personally meaningful, relevant, and engaging for all ages. And so this, I think it's a 9-sheet PDF, which I'll put in the chat, has some wonderful prompts that can be used for art making, but also for thinking, for just consciousness. And you may decide in the time that we're together to even open up this PDF and get some more ideas. When faced with a particularly weighty problem, the Baal Shem Tov, founder of Hasidic Judaism, would go to a certain place in the woods, light a sacred fire, and pray. In this way, he found insight into his dilemma. His successor, Rabbi Dov Ber, the preacher of Mezrich, followed his example and went to the same place in the woods and said, "The fire we can no longer light, but we can still say the prayer." And he too found what he needed. Another generation passed, and Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sasov went to the woods and said, "The fire we can no longer light, the prayer we no longer remember. All we know is the place in the woods, and that will have to suffice." And it did. In the 4th generation, Rabbi Israel of Rishon stayed home and said, "The fire we can no longer light, the prayer we no longer know, nor to remember the place. All we can do is tell the tale." And that too proved sufficient. I share that because Pesach is different this year. It was different last year than the year before that. And in our time, it's different whether there would be the restraints and limitations of the pandemic or not. We experience it each in our own way. So I've provided you with some really basic supplies to play with them. I'm gonna put on some music to inspire, and there's really not a lot of instruction here. You can see from the illustration that's on there that I ended up tearing paper to make some leaf-like, some growth, something spring-like. I didn't use scissors. Alyssa pointed out you can use scissors, you cannot use scissors. And I'm saying you don't need the scissors if you want, but you have materials there to work with. And you have materials of your own at home that you want to work with and play. But really in this, I just want to impress upon you is that this time is really just however you want to use it, okay? The creating is to have in mind and be maybe impacted by the music that I will play. I'm going to stop. I think I'm going to stop. Yeah. Sharing the screen if I can do that. There we go. Stop share. Hello. And Hi, Alyssa. I didn't see Elisa. Hi. And so really, if you need to fix yourself a cup of tea, a glass of wine, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable to just relax and be anticipating this holiday that's coming up that carries a lot of meaning, and I know in some cases some disappointments, and is filled with possibility and with 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 possibilities. And actually, I just am seeing Cynthia's asking, what about the box in the club? It's just for you. It's a little treat. It's not specifically for the
To
art
wipe your
project.
face.
Well, it's to either, if you need it to clean or you want to wash or whatever it is. It's just an extra little gift, springtime gift. Okay, so that's what's with that. So I'm gonna put some music on now.
Can I ask a
Yes.
question?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm way too needing of structure for this.
Okay.
So I really need.
You're not alone, apparently.
I really need a little bit of help here, Nancy.
Okay. Okay.
So for me or
Yes.
anybody else who also feels like I do, like, can you give me some direction? Would be something I
Sure.
would like to have.
Okay, so let me just do this so I can be done with it. Yeah, I just put those other things in there. So, for example, you could be making something with these different supplies that can beautify your Seder table. Okay, to personalize your Seder table. You can think about the parting of the sea, and I know that I've found that the paper with the waves in it just bring up the water to me. So I can imagine that when I get the music going and we're not thinking too much, but we're playing with the materials, that one thing will lead to another, will lead to another. And you can start working on something. You can think about the plagues. You could think about that, the symbolism of spring. You can think about growth. Any of these components that are floating around there, and you can actually, and I guess the more significant thing is to just start, Alyssa, okay? And you'll see where it goes. And
Can I share something I learned this week? I really love this idea.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
So I learned that when the Jews came out of Egypt and they went into the desert and then they went into Israel, right? So it was a long process, but it was like a double birth. So like a chicken, we were like chickens. So a chicken lays an egg. So the egg gets like squeezed out. You have to like, I don't know if chickens do that, but certainly women do that. So you push this egg out. That's the first birth. But then the chicken has to start pecking its way out. And that's the second birth. So too, the Jewish people were squeezed out of the straits of Egypt and came through the Red Sea and they came out into the desert. That's like the birth of the egg. And then there's the tapping away at the eggshell to come out and then enter into Israel. So that whole through the desert thing was like us knocking on the shell to escape that.
So
existence.
I want you to play with that, Alyssa, play with that imagery and the feel of it and the cracking and the breaking, but just that works for you. For somebody else, it may be something totally different. Okay?
Alyssa, I think it means you have to do 2 projects.
I want to know what you two are talking, because you guys are laughing and I want to hear it.
No, I can't. I just, I don't know. You know, when I get late at night. So what?
Okay, I'm playing the music.
Circle round for peace.
Can you hear?
For all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us in prison. children of our children keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children keep the circle whole. I've גלעדי במהרה יבוא אלינו, המשיח בן דוד במהרה יבוא אלינו, המשיח בן דוד. אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו הגלעדי במהרה יבוא אלינו, המשיח בן דוד במהרה יבוא אלינו, המשיח בן דוד.
It's very lovely music.
Yay. We
Oh,
have
it's
one more,
beautiful.
5 more minutes with this one
Oh, no.
song. Doesn't mean you can't continue to do this after we're together.
Oh, but this is wonderful. Wow. Oh.
So, believe it or not, that was 25 minutes of art making. No,
Oh,
no, I'm
fun.
not kidding. That was that. And I know that for some of you, it was harder to get started than others. And I don't know what the experience was. And if folks would be willing, and please, you can, as I can see some of you are continuing to work, and I encourage you to do so, or to play, as the case may be. I encourage you to do that. And I'm wondering if anybody wants to share what this experience has been. Alyssa, you're nodding. Does
No,
that mean-
Jess is all ready.
Jess is ready.
Yeah.
Jess is rolling her eyes. I
Yes,
don't
she
know.
is.
That's what I do. That's what I do. So I was inspired by the shiny paper because a couple of them came rolled up, like the ends were rolled up. So I kind of just went with that. So this is my like little plate that will hold a little notebook that we'll use, my kids and I, God willing, to write memories of like past Passovers and Seders for them to collect, and we'll keep them in this little like box that I made for us.
Oh, how neat.
Yay.
Like going forward, just to like collect all our memories.
That's great.
Wow.
Thank you. So there was a purpose for that, for putting that box in
I
there.
had to use the box.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else?
Oh,
Maxine, go.
okay, I did the parting of the Red Sea.
Right.
Okay, in the center, you see the Red Sea, and there's movement because the troops are moving up. So the dots represent the troops. And then on either side, you have the parting of the Red Sea. And then you must have some kind of seashore here. And then I made it lighter because of to show lighting. So, and then I made kind of like a sun over here, so that will reflect on the shore. And
Great. That's great.
so I'd like to
Really
put this
nice.
in a frame. And
All right, Maxine, you are
Yeah.
getting quite the gallery show happening. I appreciate your enthusiasm here. Yeah.
oh, I love it.
Anyone else?
Sure, I'll do mine.
Okay, Suzanne.
Just very simple, but it's the parting not of the Red Sea, but of the sea. And
Ooh,
the soldiers are in the middle that
Ooh.
fill in. So I just ripped my paper the way you said,
Uh-huh.
and cut up the little gold things to be the horses and the chariots and the enemy.
Wow. Wow.
wow,
That is fabulous.
great.
That's gorgeous.
That's absolutely gorgeous. Wow.
The way you rip the paper looks so much like water.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to make it look like waves.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
Paper cutting, a paper ripping technique. How did you do that?
Yeah. And then
I
I
wanted
did
to rip this.
and then I did another little thing with
Oh,
to be carousel
Hmm.
and a shank bone and some bricks. So that's
wow,
where I ended it. But
Great.
so it's
Thank
fun.
you.
I like that.
nice.
I'll
Yeah.
share mine because really there was a very funny moment. First of all, I just want to say that this takes me back to being in art class in school, which I loved. It was like the best part of school was going to the art room. And that's what I feel like when we do these, Nancy, that I'm like freed up into my house becomes the art room.
Yay.
But I wanted to do
Wow.
something that would hang from my light above my table during the Seder.
Uh-huh.
And so I started to make these like letters,
Mm.
and
Wow.
then the pay and the mouth. But so the pay was, with the moment was funny because I was like, oh, well, I'll sketch the pay on the unpretty side of the paper.
Right.
And then I cut it out. And then it was a mirror. And then I didn't have any more of the paper that was my favorite. And then I was like, but I can just cut it again and
Yeah.
reconstruct it, right? Like it was, but it was this great moment of you may have seen me sitting here going, oh, how do I turn that?
Pay for
So
it. There you go.
I haven't quite finished, but then I was going to do an ear, but I didn't really, I have to work on the ear. It looks like a drumstick right now. So there was going to be an ear and then a heart. So it was going to be Pesach was
Pesach.
about speaking
Nice.
and listening and feeling.
Oh, beautiful.
That's very nice.
So I have to figure out how to hang those, but Nancy's coming to my house, so maybe she'll help me.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Thank
That's
you,
great.
Nance. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thank
this is
you.
wonderful.
I'll go. I'm pretty literal. So there's not a lot of creativity with my artwork. So I didn't get that far either. I'm pretty impressed at how much
Oh.
I did in that amount of time. But I basically just started with candlesticks, some matzah, and the 4 cups of wine. And then I was thinking next year in Jerusalem. So next year I did milk and honey. And I was trying to do a honey jar and it didn't work. So I just did a bowl with a spoon, looked like honey because it was yellow.
That's great.
So over here was next year. This is this year, kind of and that's about as far as I got.
Great.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Art is not my forte.
Hey.
Oh,
You did great.
Thank you. Show them Lisa.
Oh, Elisa, you need to unmute.
Oh, Lisa.
We're talking about me, right? Okay.
Yep.
So I decided my parents are coming for Seder, which is a miracle in and of itself. And then I'll have others on Zoom, but I decided for the folks who are coming, there'll be 6 of us. I made each person spring inspired. Nancy, you totally inspired me. And each one is different. And I just, like each person's this will be something they can bring home if they want. But it's just a way to remember the Seder and to
Excellent.
have a bit of spring.
You did 6 of those in 25 minutes?
No. Oh no,
Oh.
I'm working on number 3 right now.
They're
No, number 4.
They're beautiful.
oh.
Thank you.
Send my best to Becca and Mimi.
Oh, I will, Lisa, I will.
Oh, the sweetest girls ever.
Mm.
All right, so I haven't finished mine at all, but and it doesn't look very Jewish, but when I explain it, I'm hoping it will. But Nancy, when you showed the picture of the mental health Haggadah, that was it for me. Like that just is all I connected with, and this has been a year of years, a huge struggle for me, being home and with the children and my husband, and just a lot. It's just been a very high energy. So all that came to me was 4 questions, 4 question marks. And I don't know yet, and this is the parting, it looks like challah, but it's actually a parting of the sea. And I started cutting out red, that I'm just hoping that the angel of death will, if we cover ourselves with red, will just continue to pass us over, and that COVID will pass us over, and we can be, done struggling, done, and just be done. So that's my, oops, there we go. So that's so far where I am with it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Wow.
with that.
Wow.
So
And don't forget that you have that, if you haven't already downloaded the mental health Passover sheet, the PDF is in the chat. So you can-
maybe send it to me by email and I'll email it to everybody.
Okay, great.
Rachel.
Great. Yes, Rachel.
Oh, okay. I made this. This is just like road to escape from Egypt, and this is freedom, like gate to freedom. And this is like Jewish star, 6 pieces. And this is like Elisa mentioned about egg, everything from egg, whole world to create. And this is like step to future, step to up.
Rachel, can you put the image in front of the camera so we can see it a little bit better?
Lift it up.
Yeah. Okay, and it's shiny, so it's reflect. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Excellent. Thank you.
beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
in board.
beautiful.
Rachel, that's beautiful.
Wow.
that
And this is moon, and this is like palm tree, and this board to freedom.
Wow.
So,
Thank you.
wow.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, I took it kind of literally. So here's
We
the
can't see. We can only see
Okay,
your
wait,
palm tree.
I'll get there. I'll get her there. I'm sorry, I have to.
No, it's the
undo
palm
and do.
tree. Maybe, Bonnie, you have to take your
Oh.
background away. Take your background off.
oh yeah, okay. Wait.
Whoops. Oh, I muted you by mistake, Bonnie, also. I'm sorry. Can you? I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button there. Ah! Bonnie, come back.
Oh,
You have to unmute yourself, Bonnie.
Okay.
There
Right,
you
and
go.
now
Yeah,
try to
but
get rid
now
of
I
your
don't know
screen.
if I don't know if I can get rid of this. But
Whatever you can do, tell us about what you did.
yeah, so
Bonnie, all you have to do is to go to stop video,
ooh,
click the character next to stop video.
yeah, I know.
And then you change your visual, choose your visual, your virtual background, and then say none.
ooh.
Doesn't give me a choice.
Oh,
It doesn't say none.
So bring your video back and let's hear about what you did and what that
All right.
was about.
Okay. Okay. So it's on here. I have the yellow is
Oops.
the desert.
Except now you got to put your video on because we can't see you.
Maybe if she holds it in
There
front of
you
her
go.
body.
Yeah.
If she holds it in front of her,
Now
no, it
it's
just
all-
covers
now
up.
it's all
Wow.
ocean.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay. So I'll just tell you. So there's a palm tree here. There's a dove in the sky. And the dove is for peace. This is the matzah sort of floating around. And these are the tents of the people in the desert. And this is here, and the tree is in the oasis.
You got
Wow.
your palm tree is right there. So
My palm tree is right here.
great. Great. Thank you. Thank you. What was it like to do it? That's a bigger question too. So,
All right, I've got mine. Here's mine.
okay.
So like, what do I know? I don't know. So I started with the eggs. So here's my birthing eggs.
Wow.
I don't know, they're
Wow.
circular and they go round and round and they're
Wow.
shiny. We're gonna
like that.
break out from our eggs. We're gonna be born through some kind of process. And then because we talked about the reed seed, so we had to have the reed seed with the eggs and the coming from the green through the blue. I don't know. Just mostly just playing around and
Good.
I don't know, something
That's very good.
creative.
It sounds like you got out of your head a little bit there, though, and got into
Yeah.
the plane.
No, I think
Yeah.
what happens is you start off going, ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then like if you sink into it, you know, then you start kind of like, ooh, there's
Yeah.
green. Ooh, there's blue. I can do something.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed with everybody else's very creative and thoughtful and mindful creations. Well done. Does anybody who didn't share want to share?
Well,
I'll quickly share.
So
So
this is my
I
friend Hillary. Hillary lives in Maryland.
I didn't get the packet that you gave out, so I just looked for.
you have to move to Rhode Island.
I know.
Yeah.
So so this is just some paper I had and some printed like hand painted paper. I didn't do this, but
Ooh.
this is like pyramids, and I just had this image of just like going out, like Mitzrayim and going out, and this is, well, this is kind of the shape of Israel, and then this is just like, you know, kind of darkness into light. So
Beautiful.
very abstract.
Very, very nice. Yeah.
I like
And
the
what about
colors.
the process for you? What was it like for you to do it?
I was so relaxed that I remember doing this with you at Rosh Hashanah. That's why I wanted to do this, because I didn't even know that people were here. I forgot that there were other people here. I don't do that ever. I so rarely get moved out of so just doing that was a beautiful experience. Like literally, I forgot that you were all here. And I had my video on the whole time. So. Yeah, it was very, very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure. I want to share because, I was giving Alyssa a hard time that I was about the scissors and not the scissors. And so I did a combination of the scissors and the not scissors. And I also, this wavy paper got me going with the C, and I, ripped it and had the C opening and this idea of, growth and going through to some destination beyond. And then I put that aside and I started to make chains. I was thinking about chains. I was thinking about the chains of oppression, and then the chain of like legacy, and the chain of generations. So I don't know which is which in terms of the color, but I was sort of alternating, and not consistently alternating. Sometimes there were two of the same, just happened, and it was like, oops, it wasn't supposed to be. And that's like, well, it was supposed to be. And somehow while I was doing that, I was thinking about the 4 children. And I don't know why, but I was thinking, is this the simple child just playing with the materials and letting them lead me and take me wherever I was going to go and let go. And I think that sometimes when we get caught up get in our head there and have a sense of should in the right way and whatever, we stumble upon ourselves. And then I was thinking that really, in some ways, I don't want to attach it, but that these go together, that it's all,
You can hang it across Cynthia's lamp, and then she can hang her pictures.
Right. There you go. We'll figure that all out together. So that's where I went with that. And I was surprised. I had no idea what I was going to do, which, I guess is a good thing. But I can appreciate, and I do appreciate that it can be hard to get started in something like this, because we do start like, well, what am I supposed to do? What's the deal here? And
but when you say that, what it brought to mind for me is that it's a kind of freedom.
Right.
And sometimes we struggle with how to use it, what to do.
Right.
And I had the same struggle of what to do. And I actually used your tearing bit. So I started cutting out these, which are meant to be sheaves of wheat and sort of plenty. And then I just started tearing. So this is supposed to be the sea and blood and tears or plagues. And then crossing the sea, I imagine it as Miriam, but with a timbrel and a celebratory piece with the brightness. But I started just tearing and also not knowing how I was going to start. And that's not a comfortable place for me particularly, but it's a good experiment. It's a good experience to jump in.
Yeah. To jump in and, to jump in the sea with Nachshon and his not knowing and taking the risk and going forward. And there's so, the Passover story is just so rich with images, and I could have taken any one of those to explore, but I'm really, really conscious that we are in this kind of bizarre time, and wanted to honor that too, to just really acknowledge that this is not our usual experience of Pesach. And whether it's, and thank you for reminding me about that I had those booklets for people to write in, that that can be used however or whenever. And I love the idea of recording memories and stories in that. So thank you for sharing that. And just it felt really, really important to it feels very important to pause and ponder what it is, what this is. And I remember last year, it being the first COVID Passover. And it was the beginning of the pandemic. And I remember feeling so strongly that, and I participated in actually 2 different Zoom Seders. And I just remember being so grateful to have this ritual and this reason to come together and to look at plagues, and that we as Jews had that I was aware that other people who besides Jews were having an experience of this pandemic. And it was really just the beginning. We didn't know what was coming, but didn't have a mechanism to have us come together to talk and to look and to contextualize things. And I remember just being so grateful. I had no idea that there'd be year 2, and thank God things are opened up so that we can experience the Seder in a different way. But it felt, and God willing, next year we can do a similar thing, whether we end up doing it virtually of art making together or in person. I do think that I have come to appreciate that there's something about being disparate, that someone can come in from another part of the country is one part of it, but also that it's easier to forget that other people are there, and not have concern that someone's looking over your shoulder or judging or whatever. Not that any of us would do that, but intentionally, but we can feel that because most of us have experiences of that, whether that, just we all have different art making experiences. And Cynthia, I'm glad that you have good art making, that this is conjuring up good experiences of play and exploration in that way. So Alyssa.
I think that as I was doing this, I was feeling, it was interesting what Hillary was saying, how she blocked everybody out and she was just in her flow. And there was part of me that was reminiscing back to the art program we did right before Purim last year in Nancy's studio. And there were 40 people. We were drinking wine. We had lots of nice snacks. We had all this material. And there was like this connection going on between all the different people, networking and looking over and laughing and making comments and like being inspired by, oh, what's she doing, and that part we obviously are not getting. And I was aware of that. I felt like, I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to have a look, like, and I actually called a couple of you because I was feeling a little lonely. Yeah, but that's me. So I think it has, the other side of the coin is you're in your flow, but you also want to connect other people as we're engaging in this process. So
right.
When I was doing the crafts, I get very focused on what I'm doing, but I was also thinking about past Passover Seders, where a family gathered, and it was just so much fun for cousins to get to know each other because they would only see each other once a year. And it just brought back a lot of memories for me. So I know it's time to move forward, but a lot of times I go backwards too.
Uh-huh. No, I think that's, I guess that's part of the chain here too.
Mhm,
It's
that's right.
like the
Yeah.
chain of connection with each other around it and also with time. And it's why I started by sharing those images from the past. And, you know, except for the first one with Mark and my dad and just their hands, you know, and I guess that was a thing too, of like that sense of connection and touch and the nuance of that, especially when one is no longer alive, you know, that intimacy, and that we haven't been able to do that. And Elisa, I'm so glad that it must be so exciting for you to be able to get together with your parents. It's like there's the holiday is so deep, and we experience it on so many levels, and it's why I shared that that story too, that because of all the layers, like, yes, there's all the minhagim and all the different traditions and family customs and different rituals, and those all have meaning, but we express them and experience them differently and have our own unique thing about it. We could have just gotten together tonight and talked about, you know, our family, you know, or our favorite Seder and whatever stuff, but we're all kind of finding our way in this new reality. So thank you for sharing with me.
Before we sign off, I wonder if I could impose on everybody to lift their pictures up and just give me the opportunity to do a little Photoshop here of your pictures. If you could raise your glasses, raise your, like, toast the queen. Put your pictures up. I guess I have to do it too. I don't know if I can do that and take the picture at the
but
same
wait
time.
a second. You can wait. How do I do control? I've been taking.
Oh, can you do it?
Yeah, I can. I've
Shall I
been
take
doing
my
it
camera
all
down there?
night, and I command. Which ones? Command. Okay, I'm going to do it again with myself in there too. Command Shift. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that's
Awesome.
good. And Bonnie, yours showed up. I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I'm actually, Bonnie, I'm gonna pin you so we can see it bigger. Remove pin. Yeah. Don't move, Bonnie. Don't move.
Lost her. We're lost her. We're back to the ocean. Oh,
Ah,
it's gone.
here, I got
There
it.
it is.
I got it. Yeah.
You got it? Okay.
Yep, I did. Yes. So thank you, everybody.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Nancy,
Nancy,
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you,
So what
Nancy.
you did was you got us to focus, you got us to think, you got us to like plan. Like when I'm reading this really great book called The Art of Gathering, and it speaks about being intentional as we gather, and it made me think about the Seder coming up, and that you don't just show up. I mean, some people do just show up, but if you plan a little bit, if you have a little sense of what it is you want to get out of it, and you try to engage some of your participants or your family members or anybody who's coming with a little bit of something to think about ahead of time, or something to bring, that they have some intentionality before you gather, then it will enhance the gathering rather than just sort of let it flow. And so I'm thinking about that more, and I think this feeds into all of that also as we think about the themes of, you know, the parting of the sea, and the idea of freedom, and the freedom that we had to create whatever we wanted, and nobody was looking, so we really could do whatever we wanted. To cut and to tear instead of cutting, or to have anything formal. It was all very informal. And so I hope that you all enjoyed it, everybody, and I hope that the conversation continues, and that the bonding and the connections and the, you know, oh, I remember Mrs. Rybica and Mrs. Glucksman, and isn't that nice? And what are you doing? And like, Rhode Island's small enough, and that we can absorb people in Maryland and other places, but it's the world, and the Jewish world is small enough that we can really consider ourselves all family, and we can all support each other and help each other. And I'm really, really, really happy you all came, and this was just a perfect group. And thank you all for being here. Anybody else want to have any comments or reflections before we close out?
No, I just wanted to ask Nancy a question about the music. The music was beautiful.
Okay.
Yes.
And it really did. I mean, with the music on, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what am I going to do? And as soon as the music went on, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter, just
Right,
play.
right.
Can you tell us what it was?
I can. You know what? I can send a playlist.
Okay.
That would be great.
Or the names of it, and I'll send. You know, it's in the chat now, but I'll send the PDFs to you, Alyssa, so you can share them with people. Because I really think that both of those PDFs will be of value to people personally, and possibly with your Seders themselves. And so that's great. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
all for
Can
coming.
I just say one more
Thank you.
thing?
Yeah.
This was beautiful female